What happens with post-traumatic stress and trauma, particularly BOFU, when you re-enter the body, your soul re-enters the body, there's a natural reflex for every single bit of trauma you've ever had, including all the transgenerational stuff stuck in our body, to come out all at once.
So it's almost, I mean, and this is kind of my opinion, perception, whatever you want to call it, is that before a person goes down the path of psychedelics, they need to make sure they're at a pretty good place, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally.
Well, it's that awareness of mind that, what does sobriety mean? I have been profoundly addicted to scuba diving, getting my dive masters. I'm a, 10-year triathlete. I mean, I was doing long course triathlon for 10 years. I was on a bike for 10,000 miles a year. And that, so it's.
No, I know. I've done Ironman twice, so I know.
So is that still sober if you're on a bike rather than working? And so it's, consequences are consequences. Right. The thing for me, in particular, the awareness for me, when I first got sober in 86, I was, I'm 185 pounds now. I was 138 pounds. And I discovered, ether-based cocaine, where you take liquid ether and you put it on cocaine. It's what blew up Richard Pryor. Wow. And it's true freebase. It's not the baking soda crap that they do. And it demonstrated very clearly to me that once I had that substance anywhere in proximity to me, I did not have a choice.
Wow.
The power of choice was removed from me. And, if you look at the 12 steps, that is the core foundation of step one, that we are truly powerless. And it doesn't mean when I start drinking, I have an issue stopping. It means that I am powerless against the first drink when I'm dead sober.
Okay.
And so it's that awareness, if you've got that awareness when that monster wakes up and it scares the crap out of you,
right, and
you're really good at surrendering to a power greater than self, then you have an opportunity to not be drug around by your addiction. But, bass fishing and everything else, I mean, leading up to, this last stint of recovery that I got now, I bass fished 45 days a row in the spring and pinched a nerve in my hip. And so it was, my addictions are my addictions, and are they under control is the greatest illusion you can have. And so it's
the true definition of an addiction is to repeat a behavior despite negative consequences. So if you're not having negative consequences, then is it really an addiction?
It's it is a classic. I have Labrador retrievers.
Uh-huh.
And at one point I usually have one Labrador. Right now I have two Labradors. At one point in my life, I almost had three Labradors.
Okay.
And they're very dependable. Why? Because when I walk through the door, they do their little happy butt dance, and it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But they poop. They have vet bills. They're a pain in the ass to travel. I got to board them. And so every positive has a negative along with it.
Right.
And am I really willing to look at the negative? And that psilocybin and 5-MeO DMT, which is it is not even a hallucinant. It is a spirit molecule. It's the God molecule.
The God molecule, yeah.
And I did it 5 different times in 5 different ways, and I do not regret that at all. Profoundly changed the way I understand God, experience my spirituality. It led to me actually reducing. It was one of the things that the other joke I always say, the weed we had back in high school is not the shit they have now. Holy crap.
Right.
Right. I don't know what they figured out, but man, they got it figured out. And it scared me. A little weed pen, within,
thank goodness
I have them in my hand because I can't stop.
Yeah, thank goodness I got sober before that came out.
Yeah.
So your first experience was with psilocybin, right?
Psilocybin and a derivative of mescaline. So mescaline is a heart opener. It's a naturally derived heart opener. It's San Pedro, or it comes from.
Is that
It's
peyote?
peyote. Yeah,
Peyote,
peyote buttons are a cactus button. It comes
right?
out of a cactus,
Right.
and it's a very mild heart opener,
Mhm.
meaning that it relaxes the fascia of the heart, increasing the likelihood of oxytocin coming into the heart. So it makes you it's very similar to MDMA.
Okay.
It's just not nearly as strong.
Okay.
And so you
So yeah,
combine that, so it opens this capacity for love in the body, and
right.
then you use a psilocybin, which is very dose dependent on turning off the default mode network in the brain, turning off your ego. So
That's
it
weird.
gets out of the way, it
Right.
takes the monkey mind out of the way of actually experiencing love.
Okay, so you have the first experience, it's profound, and then what?
It was probably 3 months, 4 months later,
Uh-huh.
another journey, another, this next one was MDMA with psilocybin,
Okay.
and probably 10 times the effect of the heart opener. I
Okay.
mean, it shocked me. You forget what it's like to be on drugs after 30 years of
Right. Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
And I mean, you are looped out of your brain.
Right.
You're so in love and so overwhelmingly, but it scared me. I'm very, very dopaminergically sensitive. So anything that hits my dopamine, and MD, methyl dioxin, methamphetamine, the MA is the methamphetamine part.
Uh-huh.
And that, the depletion 2 days later kicked in that craving of, man, I
Use it.
liked it too much, and it scared me, scared the shit out of me.
Okay, and then what?
That opened the door to the 5-MeOs, and, which is the ayahuascas and the toad, they call it, where you're smoking toad. It's the bofu. Yeah. That was really a before and after experience, like before, and then afterwards. It's hard to describe.
To get a free copy of the 12-step guide that I created for you, click on the link in the description below.
The experience that it is. I mean, you experience complete light love, for lack of a better word. Back, you experience God in its fullest.
Mm-hmm.
And so it opened the door to really a different understanding and way of being in this world.
Okay.
And that is arguably the one that is probably not considered a relapse. And I could, say that profoundly. It's about a 15-minute experience that opens,
I mean, it's
if you have
complete.
questions about a power greater than yourself, Bofu will answer all those questions like right now.
Right. And I hear other people talk about it, and it's like death of the ego liberation. Those are the types of words that I hear.
Yeah, and it's I went back and repeated it because Peter Levine teaches a course on near-death experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it is the near-death experience. And so I was very drawn to the experience of not only ego death, but actually soul. There's no real words for it, but it's a clarification of how soul re-enters the body, leaves the body and enters the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so, DMT is released throughout every cell in the body, but it's released day 23 post-conception. So egg and sperm meet day 23 in mom's uterus. And then during vaginal birth, when the lungs are really squeezed, and then 3 to 4 minutes before death. So my theory is it's when the soul enters and leaves the body.
Okay.
And that coming back into body was something that, in a very new way became a magical experience that's changed me forever.
Right.
Witnessed 50 people probably doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
In the interim between my medicine journeys, I was assisting and sitting with people and, doing integration work and helping them. What happens with post-traumatic stress and trauma, particularly with Bofu, when you re-enter the body, your soul re-enters the body, there's a natural reflex for every single bit of trauma you've ever had, including all the transgenerational stuff stuck in our body, to
Mm-hmm.
come out all at once. And so I've witnessed more terror, like true terror, from people coming back into their bodies after 5-MeO. It's an incredibly difficult thing to integrate. And so it is something that requires 6 months or a year of prep work if you really want to do it right. And then 6 months or a year of post-integration work to get the most out of it. So, it's not something, hey, I got to go try that.
Yeah. What does integration work look like?
Trauma healing. So somatic experiencing is what, kind of my forte into it. I've also done a lot of craniosacral, where you're integrating, integration means wholeness, like integrity means wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
And what trauma does is it limits parts of our energy systems in our body. And so you're opening up these energy systems, these parts of our body that were split off because of trauma.
If you got value from this video, if you heard what you needed to hear, be sure to like it. Comment if you've got a question or you have something to say. Subscribe to the channel. Camelback Recovery provides treatment services for people struggling with mental health, mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, whatever it may be. So if you or a loved one is struggling and you need some guidance and you need some direction, reach out to us. Our contact information is down below, or you can go to our website, camelbackrecovery.com, whether it be detox, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, sober living, recovery coaching, sober companion services, whatever it may be. Like I said, we can either help you or make sure that you get sent in the right direction. We help people all over the country, all over the world for that matter. I'll see you on the next video.